Hey guys, Palsteron here, and today let's talk about my day 2 update for the Meteor Bear, and we got some pretty spicy stuff in here. First, we cooked up a setup that gives us an extra 77% of damage at extra cold, using one of the new lineage support gems called Meteor's Vengeance, which we can have up almost 100% of the time, and yeah, with that amount of extra cold damage, freezes are kind of coming out. Tons of chills, overall great value, and this is a setup that you can implement into other builds as well, as long as you have a right setup. Working together with that, I acquired the gloves Sine Aequo, which makes it so that whenever enemies are at 50% of the stun or freeze bar, they will instead instantly get frozen. So basically a double, like a 100% more to your stun or freeze buildup, and how that plays into a whole defensive setup. This is the support gem in question, Meteor's Vengeance, and first good thing is this is not one of the rarer ones, so even if everybody will want one of these eventually, because it's actually broken on multiple builds, it will never be like 20 divines or anything like that. When you freeze a target with supported skill, for each 1 rage you have, you and your allies in your presence gain 1% of damage as cold for 20 seconds, which does scale with skill effect duration. For us, that is 30 seconds, so it's very easy to upkeep, and we have 77 rage, so 77 cold is extra. And we put it on our auto attack, which we sometimes just slap, right? Like it's just quickie slap, boom, there you go. And you freeze like a normal mob, and now you have a 30-second buff that globally applies this, by the way. This is the most important thing. This is a global buff. It will work on your Furious Slam. It will work on your Walking Calamity. It will work on everything. Now, to show you how easy it is to upkeep this, I will quickly show you a map, which I should do anyways. So we've upgraded the build quite a bit. We're going to talk about that all in detail. I'm almost level 91 at this point. And yeah, we're just going to slap, as always, slap and slam. You guys know how it goes. So I go in, boom, slap, slam, right? Okay, so as you can see right here, buff is up. That is all I had to do. And guess what's going to happen next time I freeze? The whole stuff gets refreshed. Okay, I actually did not even have my slam on. Okay, so that was only slapping, but you will see in a second. So we want to run through, boom, slap, slam, slap, slam. That is all it is. Slap, slam. Walking Calamity. There it is. Always up. 30 seconds. And it gives us like, I don't know. It gives me an extra 50-60% more damage. It is completely, utterly ridiculous. And as you will see, a lot of the mobs around us do not really walk anywhere. And the reason we're freezing so easily and we are stunning so easily, like pick your poison, sometimes they get frozen, sometimes they get stunned, is... I'm gonna quickly show you this. It doesn't even matter. Nothing hurts me anymore with this amount of armor. The reason is because of our gloves, which I'll go over in a second. These gloves drop from Arbiter. I did not kill Arbiter yet. I have not seen a single tablet, so I'll probably going to just have to buy it and brute force it. So most likely in the next 1 or 2 days, you will see an update about Arbiter. But yeah, that is it. Now, my AoE setup right now is not all that great because I don't have a lot of AoE in. We're just doing some bossing, so it's not the best way to put it, but okay, I'll just quickly, we just reached level 91, perfect. I'll just quickly show you this abyss right here. Everything's kind of just popping, as you can see right here. It's going great. Slap. As you can see, the cold buff is always up. I'll quickly show you the boss. All right, found the boss. So if you can carry the buff to the boss right here, so for example, now I have a 30-second duration, it's obviously the easiest, but if you can't, then you can't. I'm going to quickly show you. Boom. And we go slap, boom, slap, boom, slap, boom. 2 million down in around about 3 seconds. Now, if you do not have this buff, so for example, if you go up to Arbiter, you would have to perfectly time it with the pounds. It is not perfect and is not super easy, especially because you have a lot of stun, but in 99% of cases, this buff will be up. Now, just so we are aware, this damage is on a 6-link Walking Calamity, but not on a 6-link Furious Slam yet, so I still have damage to upgrade there, and I still have the same weapon as last time. I'm still saving up to actually upgrade this weapon. So yes, this build will be able to absolutely decimate bosses, and you will be seeing those kind of Xesh compilations that you're usually used to with some big spongy targets getting one shot. With builds like this, you gotta remember that a lot of the tech at league start is not out yet. For example, this one, and over the next coming days, people will actually try out stuff, will find all these things, and then we'll put everything together. If you give up too early, that's too bad. I understand, right? You just want to make currency, but that's how it goes every single league. Now, as for skill setups, in my mall, I have Batayir's Vengeance with freeze support. This gives me easier freeze buildup. Then I have Embitter. This turns all the added damage from everywhere into cold. So that includes the 30% of fire here gets converted to cold. If I, for example, take 8% here, also cold. All of it. We then have cold attunement. It does take a little bit away from some of the extra fire and lightning we're getting, but it doesn't matter. All that the mall has to do is freeze, and that's what it does. And then also elemental armament. Now, so you want to look at how much cold damage do you actually have. For example, I have 4.8k to 13k damage. You should not have any problems here. But there's two things to this. I have a new aura in the build. The first one is Overwhelming Presence. This one makes it so that enemies nearby in your presence have 22% reduced ailment threshold. That means that it is way easier to actually freeze them or shock them or anything like that. You will also see on bosses that I just get random shocks from just 8% extra lightning somewhere. And the other piece of the puzzle is Sine Aequo. This one is a little bit more expensive depending on your role. They start, I think 70k is around about 2 divines right now, but they are definitely worth it. They have skill speed, they have immobilize at 50% buildup. So if you guys know like the stun buildup under the boss, once you get to half of it, it's already frozen or stunned. It is completely, utterly ridiculous. And while mapping, you will feel crazy because everything's stunned and frozen. And that's quite important because one of the biggest issues with this build is recovering energy shield. And if a lot of the enemies around you are stunned or frozen, that gives you a better opportunity to do that. And enemies immobilized by you take 20% more damage as well, which is just fantastic overall. Because if you think about how you're gonna do most bosses is they have like an invulnerability phase, especially some of the pinnacle bosses, they just got a shield for the first 5 seconds. So the first 5 seconds are just there to like freeze them or stun them, and then afterwards is your big damage window. So in that spirit of the bear, we also have this node right here and the damage against immobilized, and we also get a little bit of extra stun buildup. So with all of these pieces together, that's how you're going to do it. Do note that you might only have a 5 link. The reason I have a 6 link on my mall is because I'm level 90. That's how auto attacks work. You can't 6 link it yourself. You just get it for free. You just have to reach level 90, which is therefore a quite important milestone. Now, another big one is in order to fit some of these new auras in, for example, Bark Skin, which makes it so I get some extra armor whenever I get hit on my energy shield. I have a new amulet right here, which gives me 39 spirit, which is obviously huge. But you will see there's even another aura right here. Savage Fury is still in, and I have Overwhelming Presence, and I still have Herald of Ash. Where's this all coming from? Well, Savage Fury, funnily enough, works while it's on your offhand. So what you have to do is you go here and you assign it to your offhand. Your offhand doesn't matter, just so you know. I don't have anything really here, but tick the 2 here. You can see I'm still building up Frenzy just as normal. So you're just straight up saving 30 spirit. Now, I don't know if this is a bug, but this might get hotfixed. So if at any point you feel like it doesn't work anymore, the least important aura right now, I would say, is probably Bark Skin. Other than that, on my Herald of Ash, I have Magnified Area 2 and Fire Mastery. I was a little bit sloppy about this, but I mean, it's just free. I'll probably get a little bit more onto that as well. I'm just, like I said, I'm just blasting right now. I went all the way to tier 15s, tier 16s, and yeah, level 91, just farming XP. On my Bark Skin, which I want Prolonged Duration on it and Clarity. Now, do note that Bark Skin cannot give you, the last line there, the total armor gained from this skill cannot exceed the item armor. So what it basically does is, if your combined items have 1,000 armor, Bark Skin, it caps at 1,000. So the more armor you have on your gear, the better. For example, I have a new body armor that now gives me 1,200 armor and also 454 energy shield, which is quite strong. It also gives me a ton of resistances. And then you see that's basically it. Do note that armor rolls on your belt do not count. It's still good, but it doesn't work with Bark Skin. And then Prolonged Duration on your Savage Fury, it does work. I don't know why I didn't put it in, but I mean, it's free anyways. On my Walking Calamity, I changed around some stuff. I'm not using Elemental Focus anymore because now I have so much cold damage, everything can freeze. So if you have Elemental Focus, which makes it so you can't apply LE ailments anywhere, remove it. We're now full in freeze territory, and most likely I'll try to fit in a Herald of Ice. More on that probably in the next, probably tomorrow. I'll try it out and try to get it into the build. I'll see how it goes. Concentrated Area, which we might replace eventually once I have more money for good lineage supports. I just really want the damage right now. Prolonged Duration still for the comfiness. Elemental Armaments, Rapid Attacks 2, and Fiery Death is right now something I'm trying out, but I'm honestly not 100% certain. More on that as well in a bit. Now, Rapid Attacks is interesting. I am not 100% sure if this is bugged, but I think that meteors fall faster if you have attack speed. So if you look right here, the small meteor right now, 47k. If I put this out, small meteor, 41k. I have no idea. Same with the big meteor, 102k and 11. Yeah, like something is up here. I don't know if this is a mistake, but usually these tooltip DPS are just hard-coded to be correct. So contrary to popular belief, it should work. Have I really felt it all that much? I don't think I have enough attack speed to really judge that, but I did feel like a little bit of a difference when I had different talismans, but this is something we'll have to figure out. Hopefully one of the devs clarifies at one point, or maybe we get a line here, because nothing indicates it actually does. If you look at the buff, it just says triggers every 0.05 seconds, and that's about it. So if this gets hot fixed, I will keep you up to date as well. Other than that, Furious Slam, I still have Aftershock 2, Close Combat 2, Rapid Attacks, and Rage 3. These are pretty interchangeable, and I'm going to 6-link this one quite soon. As for the rest of the gear, super important. Sangria's Harem. This one's so cheap, and it grants you immunity to bleeding. So you can just get a rare one if you want to, but this one also creates Consecrated Ground, which gives you a little bit of extra regen and reduced curse effect on you, which is just, I mean, it's just free. It also passively recovers, and when I saw what kills me, it's mostly just bleeds, honestly, because bleeds, if you do not know, go through energy shield onto your life immediately. So you have 3,000 energy shield that are just completely wasted, which is why, for example, Chaos Inoculation makes it so you can't take bleeding, because otherwise you would just instantly die. So yeah, something against bleeding is going to have to be there. Another tech item I bought that isn't actually that expensive right now, I hope it stays that way. A Mana Flask, you're going to see on almost every build. Lavianga Spirits. Now, Mana Flasks are annoying. I don't think anybody has to tell you that. What if I told you this is just a passive recovery flask? Laviangas, this flask cannot be used, but applies its effect constantly. Now, this one can apply upwards to 60% if you have Glass Bubbles on it as well. I bought a cheap one. It is ridiculous. And you might say, oh, but it's only 54. I can tell you straight up, it is absolutely crazy on an attack-based build that has very low mana, just how much recovery that actually is. Just look at this, right? And you're getting that for, I don't want to say free, but would you really do anything else with your Mana Flask otherwise? I don't think so. Other than that, I just upgraded my gear across the board. I now have 30 move speed boots. I am actually capped on resistances other than chaos. It is what it is. So that's what I got. I still have my Crown of Eyes. I have a better body armor, right? Like, you want as much armor as you possibly can, but do not get stingy on the energy shield. It is just as much of importance. So if you can get like 3k-ish energy shield and the rest in armor, that is, I think, perfect, because more, and now you're relying on it too much. You'd rather reduce so with an endurance charge right now, I have around about 79%, so I'm on like 13k. And with Bramble skin up, I can go upwards of 16, 17k. Another thing I want to remind you of is that we're playing Path of Exile 2, so if you don't have a rarity on your gear, put a clown nose on and pretend like you're, I don't know, actually doing something, because you're going to drop like half the currency that other people will. I've been dropping 4 or 5 divines just today from Raw Abysses. Yeah, 36% rarity. This one has 9% rarity. This one 17% rarity. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but that is what it is. And they also nerfed the numbers, so it's even harder to get. Welcome to PoE 2. This ring is still the same. The amulet, like I said, is upgraded to get that spirit. And yeah, boots, crowns, that's about it. Now for Ascendancy, after going reactive growth here, I went for Avatar of Evolution now. And this one is quite strong. It has some upsides and some downsides. It's really nice to have 15% of physical damage taken as elemental. In general, that's around about 12-ish% less physical damage taken because it runs against resistances. And then double adaptation effect, so that means the less elemental damage taken per adaptation is doubled, but it has a downside. So adaptations but they didn't have a duration, right? But now they do. So they only last for 5 seconds and then they readjust. And that sounds like pretty bad, but usually when you die in maps, it's against like breach mobs or abyss mobs where you just get shotgunned, right? So you're gonna get hit by the same element over and over, and it is actually quite nice, and I do like it more than anything else here. If you really want damage, go Turning the Seasons. I would not recommend it personally. And Wisdom of the Magi, if you know what you're doing and you already have min-maxed gear, right now 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These bonded modifiers are not going to do all that much early on. You can look at them up in period 2dB. Basically what it means is whenever you have, for example here, armor, 11 chaos rest, there's another bonded modifier to it. So for example, 10 life, 10 mana would be the one here. There's also some special ones. So this one you'll have to look up before, and it's more of a min-maxy one for endgame. For the passive tree, I've just changed a little bit of pathing, which I might revert. I am kind of missing the AoE here in the middle, but I really wanted to go on the outside, save some points, and then grab Insulating Height for the extra armor applies to Ellie. It is quite a bit extra, and it also makes it so your recharge starts faster. Did I change anything else? Let me check. Since last time, oh yeah, I did get a From Nothing. Ignore this. I got a lucky deal here for, yeah, very little. So what this lets you do is in this radius around Blood Magic, you can allocate points. So I can take Vengeful Fury, which gives me 1% armor per rage, which is 77% armor. I can take Prism Guardian without taking these shitty notes before, and I get to take Projectile Bulwark. Overall, do not buy this. It is not worth whatever you're paying for right now. It doesn't have any bearing. You just don't take this, and you just put these 2 points here. It is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. Do note that this cluster can let you help fix resistances. That's what it does for me right now for fire. Otherwise, what is new? These Spirit of the Bear already talked about. I also started taking this cluster right here. It gives me a little bit of extra accuracy, extra elemental damage, and also Scales of the Wyvern, which once again, faster start of energy shield is the name of the game. And then I have an Anoint right here. Dangerous Blossom. This gives me extra physical damage, which is there to leech with Leech 3. Right now, I don't really have the leech set up, but that is what I have currently. You can go for whatever you want. Now, one thing I have to address is the melee playstyle. Currently, I'm not happy with the energy shield recovery, and GG is not exactly making it easy. Some of the new tools that they gave us, like Bark Skin, are just not really what they're supposed to be. And also the keystone called Scarred Faith does absolutely nothing. So they are giving us 0 tools to play with. So we will have to be a little bit more, I don't know. Yeah, which has to be creative, and I'll try to figure it out. But in general, as a melee build, you cannot be as greedy sometimes. You cannot stand in the middle of an abyss unless you have crazy, crazy gear. Even I can't do that with my current gear, and I'm already going into having pretty good gear. So overall, that is the melee playstyle. That is what GG chose to do, and I'll try to fix that. But yeah, as a melee player, we're gonna do a crap ton of damage. Bosses are a joke, but when it comes to stuff like breaches and especially abysses with some of those nasty rares, like I would honestly rather replace every single abyss rare with a boss, and I think it would be 100 times easier. Some of these degens are just crazy, and looking at other streamers and other creators, just know that this is not the only build that has to fight with that. This league, they introduced effectiveness, so everything from around about tier 9 to tier 15 is a lot harder than it used to be. So just so you know, it's not just you. Now, with that said, next up, I want to test out Fury of the King, which is the talisman that they showed off in the trailer. We'll talk all about that in the next video. And after that, I will also craft a better weapon, because right now it's not really good comparison if I just compare this 10 divine weapon versus my old 30 Exalt Fury Talisman, right? I will make a real weapon, and I'm going to talk about that as well. The problem with Fury of the King right now with how I want to build this is it's going to be hard to leech because you can really only leech off of Fizz, and this has mostly fire. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong with this, so don't buy it right now. Don't just go out and waste your money. I'll show you in the video exactly how this looks like, how it plays, etc. With that said though, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Out of all the texts that I showed you in this video, if you're like, I don't want to do all that shit, definitely do the cold one. Just trust me. It is so free. It is absolutely ridiculous how much easier the game got. The extra stuns from the gloves, the extra freeze from the gloves, and the cold tech. It has been an absolute pleasure to play. Hope you guys are having fun as well. And yeah, more updates videos obviously coming every day. And since I still don't have a slogan, see you next time.